Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode here on True Confessions, Naija. The confession you're about to hear comes from a message we received from one of our brothers. And the message reads like this. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, Uncle Ori. Please hide my identity, but listen to my words carefully. When I look back today, I can hardly recognize the man I've become. Once upon a time, I was just a boy with dreams. Dreams of escaping poverty, of giving my family a life better than the one I had. I grew up in Nigeria, in a small home where every day was a struggle. Life was too hard, the kind of hard that makes you question if God really sees you. I remember nights of going to bed hungry, watching my mother cry quietly in the dark so we wouldn't hear her. I remember vowing to myself that one day I would break free from poverty. But poverty is like a chain around your neck. The more you struggle, the more it grips you tighter. Along the way, people warned me. They would whisper about men who got rich too quickly, men who didn't sweat, but suddenly owned mansions, fleets of cars, and lived like kings. They said those men took shortcuts. They said those men used rituals. But I used to laugh. I told myself, these are just folk tales to keep people poor. I thought they were jealous lies. I thought the rich were just smart enough to manipulate the gods, and secretly, I wanted that power too. Christianity. I grew up in church. I prayed. I fasted. I called on God. But the truth? God's answers were slow. Too slow. I begged for opportunities. I begged for just one breakthrough. But hunger doesn't wait. Bills don't wait. Rent doesn't wait. So when I was faced with a choice, trust God's slow timing or follow men who promise quick wealth, I chose the men. Uncle Ori, let me tell you, these men didn't look like the occultic people you imagine. They weren't covered in tattoos or moving with motorcades. No bodyguards, no dark robes. They looked normal, just your everyday uncles, fathers, even family men. They laughed, they joked, they lived quietly, and yet they had wealth I couldn't explain. One of them was introduced to me by a close friend. This friend told me, look, I once worked for a man who had more money than even the president. He said he used to deposit mystery money into the bank, money that appeared from nowhere. At first, I thought he was joking, but the seriousness in his eyes told me otherwise. When I begged him to help me get a job, he smiled and said, yes, I will help you, but you must follow me to church. I almost laughed. Church? I had been going to church all my life. What new church could possibly give me a job? But when I stepped into that place, something felt off. It was small, just 20 to 25 people. Not your usual loud, crowded Nigerian church. The air was heavy. Everyone looked wealthy. Too wealthy for a small church. I remember whispering to my friend, what kind of church is this? Is this church for rich people only? He only smiled and said, relax, just keep calm. You will understand soon. That night, during the preaching, the lights were suddenly dimmed. My heart pounded. Then I saw them bring a woman to the front. The pastor removed his clothes until he was naked. At first, I thought maybe this was some crazy drama. But then I noticed something terrifying. The woman was not moving. Her skin was pale. She was dead. Before I could even process it, the pastor climbed on her lifeless body and slept with her right there, in front of everyone. I froze. My whole body went cold. After he finished, he wiped himself casually, put on his clothes, and continued preaching like nothing had happened. The corpse lay naked by the pulpit the whole time. I wanted to run, but I didn't. My friend held my arm tightly, whispering, "Don't panic. This is how power is transferred. Just stay calm." The next day, I returned. Part of me didn't want to go back, but curiosity, greed, desperation, those things changed me. They really, really changed me. This time, they led me into a smaller room. There lay another dead body, a young woman, cold, lifeless. They told me, if you want to be accepted, you must show loyalty. Lie down with her. I felt my soul leave my body. My whole being screamed, "No!" But then another voice whispered, "Remember your hunger. Remember your family. This is the prize." And so I did it. I forced myself on that dead woman for a few minutes. Every second felt like eternity. When I was done, they handed me a towel to wipe myself and to wipe her. I did, and returned the towel to the pastor. The priestess was watching. The one they said had more power than even the pastor. Her eyes tormented me. Cold, calculating, inhuman. Then they gave me a small bag. "Do not open it until you leave," they said. When I finally left and opened the bag, my hands trembled. It was full of money, more money than I had ever seen in my life. From that day, I was trapped. The more money I got, the more they demanded of me. Sleep with more corpses, show your loyalty. And I did, over and over. Each time, I felt a piece of my soul rot away, but money blinded me. With money came power, respect, women, the life I had always dreamt of. Yet at night, I couldn't sleep. The faces of those women really tormented me. Then it began. On my manhood, I noticed a wound. Small at first, painful. I thought it would heal, but it didn't. Days turned into weeks, weeks into years. The wound refused to heal. I went to a herbalist, desperate for a cure. When he saw it, he shook his head slowly and said, "Ah, this wound will never heal. You defiled the dead. This is your prize." His words crushed me. He said, "The wound will stay with you until death. It will remind you every day of what you did." Now, every morning I wake up in pain. I clean it up with methylated spirits. The pain is unbearable. You can only imagine. But if I don't, it starts to rot. This is the punishment I live with every single day. Money cannot buy peace. Money cannot buy healing. I stand before you now, not as a rich man, not as a proud man, but as a broken soul. If I had waited on God, maybe I would have struggled longer, but I would still have my dignity. Now I am a walking corpse myself. I share this with you because I don't want anyone to make my mistake. Greed will cost you more than poverty ever could. Dear listeners, that is my confession. This is the price I pay for wealth. A wound that will never heal. A soul that will never find peace. Thank you for allowing me to share this experience. I'll be checking the comments to see your reactions. So listeners, right there was a message that was sent to us by one of our brothers. Let us try to talk to him in the comment section. Things, they really happen for this our world. Wow.